We have Doba Baby. Doba Baby is here. Getting spoiled. You're kind of in the way, you know. You are. You smell like hairspray. Yeah. Can you lay down, please? No, hold on. We gotta get our cuddles in first. Apparently, we're a needy little baby. So, how's everybody's morning going? You getting your little brain scritches? Scratch your little brain. Yeah. Yeah. You just want some lovins. He's just a baby. He's just a baby who wants some lovins. Yeah. Am I not loving you enough? Do you want ups? Do you want up here? Do you want ups? Yeah, welcome here. Yeah. Oh, don't burp in my face. That's gross. Big yawn. Yeah. Oh, here. I'll get you right under the collar. It's just a whisper. He's like, it is. There you go. Are you done? Can you go lay down now? I'm supposed to be working. You came in. He literally waited right until stream was supposed to start and was like, I'm gonna cuddle now. Can you go lay down, please? You poor baby who never gets enough attention. This is the poor baby. The poor, unloved child. Can you go lay down, please? Get your face off my pants. Yeah, you nosy baby. Go lay down. Lay down. Thank you, good boy. Ooh. You finally getting Starlight back? Yeah, you're not allowed to play Minecraft, Jay. Alright. We do have, though, I don't know how well you guys can see it on camera, bodysuit. It's mostly together. All that's left is 3 stripes on each leg, I believe. Right? Yeah, 3 stripes on each leg. Oh, you get to wear her then, I assume. Don't put your face right underneath my tires, bud. Scoot. Try not to run over the sun. As you can see, the leg isn't really legging without the stripes on it. It's kind of just existing. That's right, we finally have all of our black pieces sewn. And all that's left is the stripes. So hopefully we might actually get this done today. Probably not on stream, but sometime today. That was a big yawn. Awfully dramatic, don't you think? But I have hiccups. But we're almost done. All that's left, aside from the stripes, because there is more than just sewing the fur together, is doing details like reinforcing the tail hole, doing the neckline, And then, of course, doing the bodysuit padding for the body, because duh. But that should all work up much, much quicker in comparison, honestly. Two. Need this one. I have to make sure I have the right piece for each side, because if I flip them backwards, it's just not going to be right. See, I will not be able to make it to the fur bowl this month, unfortunately. It's busy, busy, busy here. We got a lot of stuff that came in the mail for future projects, and we have a lot of stuff to do. We're still waiting on stuff to come in, actually. I got 3 separate packages yesterday. I got 2 packages today. And then I'm still waiting on 2 more packages to come in this week. So, lots coming in, lots going on. Oh, big stretch. Oh, big stretch. Hi, hello. I love you, I do. But you need to go lay down. But lots and lots going on. We actually got I'm planning a lot of things for the future. I'm hoping to sometime early next year have a lot of new extras for my suits. But a lot of that is dependent on how things turn out. You know, I have to actually test them first before I can add them, because there's no point in adding them if they don't work. But lots of big new stuff coming. Hopefully within the next few months. Before I can do any of that, I have to do these commissions and Vendetta Con, so that's a whole thing on its own. Yeah, this is the right direction. I was like, this is the right way, right? Oh, if only I wasn't stupid, that would have been easier to sew together. Oh well. I'm realizing that there was a cut that went straight up. Not only the black pieces, but also this yellow stripe. And I'm just now realizing it would have been so much easier to sew it all together if I hadn't been so silly about it. This whole chunk right here is throwing me for a loop. I tell you what. Very confusing. If I had more time. If I had more time and the gas money. It's too far, honestly. As much as I'd like to go to the Fur Bowl more often, it's a long drive just to stand around. And then it's a late night on top of that. And I'm really not up for it. If I had more of a reason to go, you know, I would, but... And I know Jay said they're gonna be out of town. So they won't be able to go because they're gonna be elsewhere. Loose fur on my nose. the dog is dead. I don't pay attention to him for 2 seconds, and he's a puddle on the floor. Maybe now he'll take a good nap. But I'm really hoping that I'm hoping a lot of things. I feel like I'm just kind of reiterating the same stuff every time I stream. About having time for this big project that I'm trying to plan, and then also the con. We have been working on getting more stock for the con, because I feel like we just don't have enough. But odds are at some point we're going to have a couple streams that are just going to be me sewing and tracing up stuff for YumaCon. Which will be, you know, something. It'll be fun, I guess. As fun as fun can be. Brain hole. No more brain. Alright. It's gone. I'm hoping to make some more tails for YumaCon. Because we only have nub tails left. And I feel like we need some more large tails to bring with us. So we'll see, you know. This song's got a hard beat. I feel like it's just popping my speaker. There's so many things that have happened. Like, I would like to show you guys, I can actually show you some of what I got in the mail. But I'm not going to show everything, because I'd like to keep some things a surprise. For starters, we got new 3D filament. Because we're always needing new filament. We've got our classic white filament that we use for our eye blanks, which isn't opened yet because we still have some white filament. And then this smells weird. It smells like a warehouse. This actually is translucent filament, which I don't know how well you can see it on camera. It really just looks like white filament, but it's translucent, so it'll be semi-see-through. And it smells so much like a warehouse. Oh my god. Get back in your box. Dusty musty. That is for the future project. I also had to order some more stabilizer for embroidering. So, ta-da. I don't know if this is going to be enough for how much I'm having to do, but we'll find out, I guess. Aside from that, We did get, I don't think you guys can see it. Yeah, it's too far off camera. We did get a shipment of fur in this morning, about 6 yards of gray, which is both for a commission and for the future project, because they both happen to use one of the same colors. So I just ordered it all at once, because that's going to save me on shipping. Oh, this is how I get stabbed. There we are. So yeah, that's some of the stuff that came in. We did also get some page protectors, because I'm planning on selling crochet patterns. Actually, I could probably wheel over and show you guys those too. Luna, I hate to tell you, but there is a chance that I might have to do a pink suit in the near future. You might have another pink little sibling. Scoot, scoot, Forrest. Beep, beep. Watch your toes. Gonna roll over them. That's an extra protective. He looks so offended. So, but mother, why? Why would you roll over my toesies? But there is a chance that there might be a commission in the future that is also a lot of pink. It's a very cute suit. I absolutely love the patterns on it. But I'm gonna be so annoyed to sew so much more pink. It's alright, it's been a while since I've used pink, so I'll live. But we do have crochet patterns. This one is a teeny tiny mushroom. Very cutesy. We have little price stickers on the page protectors because they are being sold for different prices based on the pattern. We have teeny tiny mushroom. We have little dino. He's also a cute one. We do have a crochet hand paw pattern that I made years ago. And quite frankly, I think it needs a bit of a revamp. It's not... Dude! Do you really have to be slurping on yourself? God damn! It's the loudest I've ever heard him lick himself, and he's just sucking on his inner thigh. They're not the best hand paw pattern. I think I could do better now that I know what I'm doing a bit more. But they're not bad. They're pretty easy to adjust for what you want and things like that. I do think they fit a little small. But hand paws, yay. We do also have this galaxy octopus pattern. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, the image printed really, really dark. So you can't really see the octopus on the picture, which is my bad. But he's there, I promise. He's really cute. We also have an umbrella pattern. We have a very large shawl pattern. We have a few of those. This shawl in particular, actually, we have the pattern for. And it does include a full chart for those who don't like written patterns. So we'll be selling these along with probably a lot of other patterns that I've made over the years at the con. Just to have a nice variety, you know? I am a little sad because I was really wanting to sell my Adventure Line scarf pattern from the Stanley Parable. But because we're in the marketplace, we are strictly not allowed to sell fan-made merch. So since it's a fan-made item, pattern, you know, we are not allowed to sell it in the marketplace at Yuma. I know, I really like that shawl. That was actually one of the first shawl patterns I ever made. I actually haven't made a shawl like that in a while. But I have several shawl patterns like that, so I'll probably print a few off. I think I even actually still have that shawl. I do plan on bringing the shawls as well, to the con and selling those. Because most of, if not, well, not all, but most of the shawls that I have used to make patterns, I still have. So if you don't crochet, you could always buy the original instead. But unfortunately, I can't bring the Stanley Parable pattern with me to the con, which sucks, because that's a really fun pattern that I know a lot of people like. But I could always bring it to MCFC maybe if I bring crochet patterns with me there. I most likely won't, just because MCFC is a table space and not a vending space, if that makes sense. YumaCon, we are getting a 10 by 10 foot space, which is a pretty large area. Like, that's most of this office space right here that you guys can see is about 10 by 10 feet, which means I can fit a table and a couple of display racks, kind of like I did at Midland, because Midland was a 10 by 8 space. It was supposed to be 10 by 10, but unfortunately the fire marshals forced them to shorten their spaces to make wider walkways for safety. Which was fine, you know, it's whatever, it is what it is, they can only do so much about that. I was a little annoyed, because then I had to kind of rearrange my entire space to fit. But Yuma, we should be getting a 10 by 10 space. And if we get MCFC, fingers crossed, really hoping for it, that will only be a table space. We won't actually have physical floor space to put stuff on, which kind of sucks, kind of meh. It is what it is, you know. We couldn't afford to have multiple tables at MCFC, so we're just getting the one, but we're going to try to fit as much as we nicely can onto a single table, if we do get a space there. So, fingers crossed, we do well at Yuma and we do well at MCFC. We will also be bringing our coloring books. Those will be coming with us. And then we will have keychains, stickers, you know, the usuals. All the good stuff. As well as the pre-mades. That is my big thing, is I always like to bring a few pre-mades with me to cons as like my big ticket items, my big seller items. Just because I feel like they sell better in person when people can actually hold them, look at them, and see them. So hopefully, you know, we can get I plan on bringing the jackalope, the half mask, the skull dog, and then possibly the poodle. Probably the poodle. Of the 4 pre-mades that I have, the one I'm most likely to bring would be the jackalope and the half mask, I think. I'm honestly not sure, because I can only bring so much on the first day of the con, you know, that will fit. So the hard part is trying to find a space for everything to sit at. As much as I'd like to have them all up on display. So the question is just, which ones do I display first? I think that's a bird. Sometimes Forrest sounds like a bird, and I don't know if it's him crying or if it's a bird chirping. He makes weird noises, you know. But yeah, so we'll figure it out. I'm trying to update my display anyway. We're kind of changing up how we're doing the cube racks. We're bringing in the tombstone this time. We didn't have that the last time I vended. Now we have the tombstone. We just have to repaint it first. And then we're going to see how much we can actually fit on it. I'm sure you will, Luna, wandering around. I do know, I think Lumen was talking about possibly going. And seeing as it's down in Detroit, odds are we might see some other fur children's down there, maybe haps. I know usually Ilian goes to the Fur Bowls, so I don't talk to Ilian a lot. I haven't really been in contact with them since I made their suit, which is fine. You know, I have a lot of commissioners that kind of just disappear, which is perfectly fine by me. We don't necessarily chat it up a whole lot, so I don't know if they go to anime cons regularly or if they have any plans to go to Yuma. But I do know they're down that way-ish, so chances are they might show up. They might come to the con. I know a lot of furries do go to Yuma, so I know Pixel and them usually go. I don't know if they're planning on going this year or not, but they might. So I have a feeling it'll be a lot of familiar faces at the cons. I know pretty much everybody's planning on going to MCFC, because duh. I'm hoping to drag along some other people to MCFC this year. I don't know the odds, but again, fingers crossed. Someday, because I think this would be hilarious, and I think she'd actually like it, I would like to drag my mother to a FurCon. I think she would actually have a fun time wandering around at MCFC in particular. You're debating on it. Are you not going to go this year? I guess what's really stopping you? Is it like expenses type deal, or travel, or the new hotel? Because I know there's a lot of people that are, I say a lot, I know there's some people that are complaining about the fact that they moved it into Detroit, even though it's Motor City FurCon. I don't know what they expected. I know there's some people that are complaining that it's in the Renaissance Center this year, but I'm really excited for it, actually. It'll be nice to have a larger space for the con, rather than everybody being jam-packed into that poor hotel. I was actually getting a little motion sick at the last hotel, specifically upstairs by the Artist's Alley, because whenever there was a group of people that would walk by, you could feel the floor flexing, and like it would kind of like set up, because it wasn't enough to be super noticeable, but it was enough to like make you need to rebalance and kind of feel motion sick. Would you stop licking me? You're a goofball. But would you stop it? But then, like, I know too, like, Artist's Alley and Dealer's Den was very, very cramped in general, just because there's so many people there now. You know, hitting over 2,000 is a lot for that one little hotel. So I'm not surprised. New venue mostly, but also the date. I wouldn't be surprised if Quinn drags me to it. I think the new venue is going to be actually really nice, because it's a convention center. It is made for bigger events like this. Like, I know a lot of people are really concerned about the fact that it's, you know, oh god, it's in Detroit. It's in a nice area. Like, it's fine there. But also, my biggest concern is, like, driving in Detroit. I do not like driving in cities, just in general. But the nice thing is if you get off of the 75 connector right there, because I think it's 75 to 375. I forget what it is, but basically the highway ends right there off that connector, and then the Renaissance Center is right on the left. So the only thing you have to do is like you have to go kind of do this weird little U-turny thing, and then you're at the Renaissance Center, easy peasy. So it's not a whole lot of city driving. I do recommend, if that's like a concern for you, going on Google Maps and actually checking the route you would have to take, so that way you know ahead of time what turns and what lanes you have to be in. But overall, I don't think actually driving in for the con will be too big of an issue. I think it'll be pretty easy to get in and out for it, since it's right there off the highway. That's the same for Yuma as well. Yuma's literally right across the street from the Renaissance Center. Like, it's not that far. 2 blocks at most. They're both huge buildings right next to each other. So driving for getting to either of them is fairly easy. But I think the Renaissance Center will be really nice. Just based on what I haven't been there before, but from what I've seen of it, it looks like a really nice building. So I'm super excited to see what they do for, like, expanding the dealer's den, because I know the last few years they've had a lot of applicants and just not enough spaces. So I'm wondering if they'll be able to get a much bigger dealer's den, or just a few more spaces, or what they're going to do, if they're going to be able to offer larger spaces in the future. I think it would be really nice if MCFC could actually offer vending spaces and not just tables. That would be cool. I want to see what they do with Artist Alley, and how, if they make it any bigger, or at least how much roomier Artist Alley might be. I also want to see what they do with the panels. I want to know where they put the panels, because I know, like, the big thing with MFF when I went, right, is that they have this big whole convention center, and that's where they put registration, and that's where they put Artist Alley and the dealer's den. The dealer's den at MFF is huge. Like, when I say huge, I mean the dealer's den was probably about the size of MCFC's old hotel. Like, huge. There were hundreds of vendors there, plenty of space. It was massive, which was really cool to see. And that's the thing, too. They hadn't even filled out the entire venue space. There was an entire other section that I feel like, I'm sure they didn't pay for that space, and that's why they didn't expand into it, but I believe that's what their plan is this year, actually, is to expand their dealer's den and make it even bigger, and I'm like, that's nuts. I would love it if MCFC was able to do something more like that. The Ren Center is a beautiful building. I've been there while at Yuma, and without anything happening, too, it's a beautiful spot. Yes. See, like, I feel like it's really pretty. Because I know Yuma is in the... not the Ren Center. They're in the Huntington building next door. And they're both really pretty buildings. I'm very excited for both cons. But the thing with MFF, right, is they had the huge space for dealers den, they had Artist Alley and all that in the Renaissance Center. Not the Renaissance Center, in their convention center there, the Stevens Center. But the problem is that all of the panels and events were in the main hotel across the street. So the only ways to get from the convention center to the hotel was to either cross a very busy city street, which wasn't always bad but could be bad, or to take the sky bridge that went out and around into this whole thing and was super, super cramped. Like, it took 15 minutes to walk from the convention center to the main hotel that was directly across the street. It was horrible. And then MFF had an issue with signage that year that I went. So it wasn't easy to know where you were and where panels were supposed to be, unfortunately. I will say that was my first ever con, so I was also just really bad at finding my way around because I'd never been to a fur con before. So that was partially also on me, but there was very little signage. It was kind of annoying. But so I wonder if it's going to be a situation like that with the Renaissance Center, if it's going to be more separated, or if it's going to be kind of side by side since it's all in the Renaissance Center for MCFC. Who knows? We'll find out. It's now only in the Huntington, but pre-COVID, it was hosted at both convention halls. Interesting. So it's gotten smaller or just less spread out, I guess. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I kind of assumed it had been just in the Huntington for most, because the Huntington is a huge space, I feel like. From what I've seen, like, I know they're talking about for Yuma, the dealers, the marketplace is going to be in halls C and D, which look huge. Like, there's some pretty big spaces. Granted, this is like where they hold car shows. Like, people drive their cars into this building and park them there for car shows and stuff, and big events and other conventions, you know. So I'm not surprised that they're big, that the halls are huge. But I can't believe they take up both the Renaissance and the Huntington. That's interesting. That sounds freaking huge. Cool. But yeah, so I'm really interested to see where MCFC goes with having the Renaissance. I do know too, because Luna mentioned it earlier, with it being on Valentine's Day weekend this year, I do know that some people are a little annoyed by that. Especially those who have non-furry partners, who don't go to the cons. Because, you know, you want to spend Valentine's Day with your partner, you know. You're not my partner. You got a fuzzy on your mouth. Where'd you even get a little pink fuzzy? Hi, hello. So I'm really interested to see what the layout is going to look like. Yeah. I'm really excited to see what the layout's going to look like for both cons, honestly, because I've never been to Yuma, so I have no idea what Yuma looks like in the first place or what to really expect, aside from what little I know of other anime conventions. And I'm just really excited to see what MCFC does, like for their sponsors lounge. I don't plan on getting a sponsors pass this year, but I am interested to know where they put the sponsors lounge, if they still do the alcohol in the sponsors lounge, and how they go about that. That will be interesting. But he found his ball. Yeah, you got your ball. I see. It'll be interesting for both cons to see what their layouts are like and how things work and stuff. And depending on how Yuma goes, I might actually try and plan for it again next year. I know I've been told that in previous years there aren't really any furry vendors at Yuma, which makes sense. It's an anime con. I wouldn't expect there to be furry vendors. But I do feel like there's a lot of overlap between furry and anime vendors in general. Can I help you? So, you know, it is what it is. We'll figure it out. We'll learn things. I will say, YumaCon is really expensive. Both for attending and vending, I feel like. Although, that is really just in comparison to the furry cons I've been to. Like, their attending pass is a lot higher than the basic attending pass for MCFC, or even MFF, and Anthro, I believe, even. It's a bit more expensive then. And then, vending is expensive for cons in general, I feel like, because of the other cons that I have applied for. Other large events and cons that I've applied for, it's generally around $300 to $400 for the weekend, depending on the size of the con and the space you get and stuff like that. You know, like some are as cheap as $100 because you only get a table versus, you know, $500 for a 10 by 10 space for 4 days. You know, Yuma though cost me about $800. I think it was $750 plus tax, so it was a little over $800 for a vendor space in the marketplace, which I was a little surprised by. I was like, that is a lot of money for vending, but we'll see how it goes, and if it goes really well, then it'll be worth the $800. I'm still really excited for it. I am definitely excited to see how both cons turn out, because they're not really back to back. The problem is I have also applied for other cons that are back to back, because Yuma is the very first weekend of November, the last weekend of October, because that's kind of all the same weekend. And then I also applied for Aquatifer, I believe, in the Dells, which is the very next weekend. I haven't heard back about that con yet, so I don't know if I'll actually end up vending there, but you know, here's hoping. I think I may have bit off a little bit more than I can chew, but I figured why put all my eggs in one basket. I'm very, very used to getting denied vending at a lot of conventions, just because a lot of conventions pick and choose, right? They pick the people they want in their vending halls, and generally speaking, that's not me. Especially at furry cons, right? There's plenty of other vendors that also sell pre-made fursuits and stickers and keychains and a lot of the stuff I sell. Anime cons, not so much. There's a little bit less competition in that regard. So I don't expect to get accepted into the dealer's den for most of the furry cons that I apply for, just because there's so many other people that are applying with the same kind of products, you know, with the same general items. But you know, one can hope, one can try. And like, if I don't get it for Aquatifer, that's fine, you know. I've never been to the Dells, so that would be a big trip for me. That would be a long trip for me. And if I don't get it for MCFC, I'm going to MCFC anyway, so that'll just mean I have more free time to go to panels and hang out in full suit and stuff, which is always fun. It is what it is. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got on the cons. But it's a lot of planning, you know, a lot of planning months and months in advance. Like MCFC isn't until February. I applied for Yuma and Aquatifer months ago, and then completely forgot about it, and YumaCon was like, hey, we accepted you. Would you please pay your money now? And I was like, oh shoot, I actually got a con. Huzzah! I totally forgot I had applied for it. So it was very exciting to actually get accepted. And it takes a lot of planning to figure out, well, how am I going to pack the car? How am I going to set up my space? What am I going to bring for that? You know, how I'm going to set up my POS system for it, because I do have to set up digital products every time I vend, just to make sure that I have what I'm actually selling there. Like the crochet patterns are a new thing, so I have to put those into my point of sale. So that way, if people want to pay for them with card, we can actually charge them for the crochet patterns. Bingle. If you're hot, get out of your chair, babe. I know. I gotta update my piece of shit for the con. No. I've got little square readers for those who don't know what a POS is. POS generally stands for point of sale. So for those who don't know, if you use Square and the Square readers, that is your POS. Which I do use at conventions, so that way I can accept credit cards, debit cards, PayPal even, I think, actually. I think the Square reader accepts PayPal. I'm not sure. It's been a minute. But usually it's very helpful to have all of your stuff listed as items in the library, rather than typing in the prices for each item every time something comes up. It's much easier to just click on a picture and tell it to add it than it is to sit here and go, okay, this one, oh yeah, it's $5, $5 plus $10. You know, you can just go, okay, small tail, large tail, fursuit spray, it's this much. You know, like, it's a lot less clicking and it makes stuff a lot more streamlined and easy to do. It just takes a lot more work ahead of time as far as setting it up to make sure you can do that. Which isn't super difficult to do, it's just a lot of organizing, you know? So I have to know exactly what I'm bringing and put that all into a folder and make sure I have all the prices correct, and yada yada, it's a whole thing. Which shouldn't be too hard because most of the stuff that I bring is also on my website. So I should be able to just copy paste it to my point of sale, which is nice. One would hope. But some of the items, like the crochet patterns, I do sell the crochet patterns on my website, but because we're selling them as printouts and not digital copies, I do have to actually make a separate listing for them at the con. Especially since we're going to be selling them for different prices because they're printed out and not just a digital copy. Because it does cost us more. So, you know, it's the whole thing. It's a lot of math and a lot of planning and a lot of stapling. Lots of staples. And then, like, it's a lot of counting, too, because, like, I have to actually go back through and recount, okay, well, how many of small tails do I have? How many large tails do I have? How many bandanas, patches, coloring books, how many pins and keychains, and whatever. Hi. Anyway, whatever else I have, you know, like, it's a lot of planning ahead of time for a con, even just a small con, you know. Much less a big con where I'm bringing a lot more stuff. Right now our biggest concern is updating our displays, because they've been kind of lackluster the last few conventions we've been to. I really want to get a new tablecloth. And I'm debating sucking it up and making it myself, or purchasing a custom one. Because making it myself means I would have to buy custom fabric, sew it, and then have it, and there would be, because the fabric is only so wide, a seam in the middle, most likely. Which is kind of annoying. Or I could pay like $200. Yes, $200. I know Amazon has tablecloths that you can get for like $20, but I want something that has an open back and has a repeat pattern on it, not just my logo on the front. I want a patterned tablecloth that is fitted to an 8-foot table, which is apparently really expensive for some reason. Stupidly so. And even harder to find in a 3-sided tablecloth and not a 4-sided one. Because everyone finds it easy to just sew a 4-sided tablecloth. Yes, they do. Do you see what I have to put up with? This is all day, every day. Don't burp on me. That's gross. I can't sew with your face right here. You're gonna get poked. You're gonna get poked. Yeah, look, see? I'm poking him with the dull end, by the way. I'm not actually stabbing him with my sewing needle. Yeah, you're getting poked. Thank you. Well, don't put your nose into the sharp end, you dork. Can you go lay down, please? Go lay down. Don't stare at me like that. Lay down. You little goofball. Thank you. So yeah, it takes a lot of planning. Dude, stop licking yourself, man. So gross. I'll have to do the math, but the cheapest and easiest way might be to just buy the custom fabric and make it myself to fit tables. Versus commissioning a custom tablecloth. Because what I want, actually I could show you guys, so that way it makes a bit more sense. Except they're out in the kitchen. I'll be right back. Except they're not in the kitchen. I've been lied to. I forgot I moved them. These are my swatches. Now granted, I'm actually not particularly happy with these swatches now that I'm looking at them. This one's fine. This one's great. This one is a little bit darker than what I actually want, I've realized. I'm trying... It's very hard to get this reddish color to match across materials. It is surprisingly difficult. Because like you can see on stream, it's supposed to be that shade of red, a bit of a bright red, whereas this is a little bit more muted. It's not awful. It is not the worst thing. I don't know, here, if I go like this so we can line, let's see if I can line it up with the edge here so you guys can see. This way? Yeah, see, it's a little bit more of a dark red than it is a bright red. And I'd say that the color on camera should be fairly accurate to real life, depending on your own screens at home. Huzzah! So it's not as bright of a red. But this is the one that I want to use for a tablecloth, because it's got my little logo on it, it's got little yarn balls, paw prints. It's a really cute pattern. This is what I use for... I say it's what I use. It's what I'm going to use for future fursuit commissions once when I run out of the old fabric that I used to get from Joann's. Rip Joann's. May she rest in peace. Since Joann's is now dead, I had to get my own fabric, and it's really hard to find patterns on fabric that are actually cute, and I was like, well, I might as well get my own at this point. It's been years, I can get my own custom fabric. It's expensive, but I can, so I did. I actually have a couple bolts up there of this fabric. But I would like to do it with this darker red fabric because I have a white table runner with my logo on it that I would layer over top, so it would end up being... Here, let's pretend this is our tiny table with our tablecloth. It would be, you know, something like that. With this little repeat pattern on it with a solid white tablecloth with my logo on the front. Plus, I don't like the idea of using a white tablecloth because that is the worst color for a tablecloth, if you ask me. It's just asking for stains. Spoonflower, by the way, has really good cotton fabric, although it is really expensive. So I'm debating, because I don't want to use a black tablecloth anymore. It looks kind of dull, kind of bland, meh. But it is really expensive, and I'm already spending a lot of money updating stuff and things, and I don't necessarily have the money right now for that. Although I do have a lot of fabric. in a bolt up there. So I might actually end up making my own tablecloth, depending. We'll find out. We'll see. I'll compare prices, and maybe it'll be cheaper for me to just buy one. Maybe it'll be cheaper for me to make one. If it's cheaper for me to make one, I'll make one. You know? It is what it is. But overall, getting that red color to match across platforms, much less materials, super complicated. Like, you would not believe how hard it is to match that shade of red. Especially since it's definitely changed over the years. Like, it definitely used to be a bit of a darker color, and now it's this much brighter red than it used to be. It's not primary. It'll never be primary red. But it is this brighter shade of red than what it used to be, which you can see on my business cards as well, because half of them look brown. That was a printing issue, though. I was very upset about that, because I ordered 500 of them, and 200 of them were straight up brown. And I'm like, I don't know what your printer did, but I'm mad about it. But it's fine. I bought those cards like 2-3 years ago, and I still haven't used them up, so it is what it is. And I think they still hold up fairly well for the designs I do these days, so I like them. But we're also working on like updating our signage, and not just the actual displays themselves, but the way we put up our signage for stuff. We're doing the lighter pattern for a background, kind of like I do on here, where it's the red rectangle with text in it with the white pattern background. Whenever I do something like, say, this, I think. No, not that. Whenever I have that on screen, you can't hear me, so it doesn't really work very well. But we'll do our signage more like that, and I think that'll look much better than what we had before. Because what we had before was straight up white paper with some text. It'll use a lot more ink, but it'll look much, much better. Which is fine by me. Hi! Welcome, welcome. We're talking about con signage at the moment because I blab about anything that pops in my head. How are you doing? While we're blabbing about con signage, today, and for like the last couple weeks actually, we have been working on this bodysuit commission for Donz the Tiger. So we're nearly done actually. We're working on the last few stripes on the legs. But we're making progress. Ah. Oh, oh. Yeah! Finding floops everywhere. I say it's really funny and interesting. Like, I'll go places and I'll be like, man, I didn't realize there was so many furries here. Especially when you go to like events and stuff. Like we go to the Midland Mall Comic-Con every year, and it's an anime convention, so you don't really expect to see a bunch of furries. And the next thing you know, there's 30 just walking around, and you're like, oh my goodness. It's actually gotten so big at that anime convention that for their costume contest, they have specifically made a category for furries. Because the first year that furries showed up, which was the first year I showed up as well in suit, all of the winners for the contest were in fursuits, and they were like, yeah, we can't have that happen again. That's not fair to everybody else. So they gave us our own category. And that was really fun. And so it's always funny, you know, going out, wandering around, and you just see someone with a little pin or a tail or something. And you're like, oh, hey, you! Do you actually? What are we actualing, Jay? Tell me what you're actualing. Hold on, Jay's gonna spit some mad facts here. Sure. This is Forrest. He's a whiny crybaby. In front of me, off camera, who you can't see, is Bingus. She is not a whiny crybaby. She is a good girl. She's also really old, so she doesn't care. He's a puppy. He's very upset right now that he's not getting attention 24/7. Yes, he is. He's a big old standard poodle. Hopefully this is as tall as he gets, but... Oh, yes. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for the correction. It is a comic convention. You're right. That is on me. It is technically a comic convention, not an anime convention. But I argue tomato. Manga exists. And a lot of comics... Whoa! Hold on. My phone did something. Oh, no! You guys want to know what happened? My camera died. Hold on, I gotta go get my charger for my camera. We will be right back. Alright, hold on guys. I got this, don't worry. It's gonna take a couple minutes, but we got this. We just gotta plug in a charger, don't worry. Don't you worry. This is what I get. I was rushing beforehand, and I totally forgot that I actually need to plug it in if I want it to last 2 hours while streaming. Do. Yeah, it did last. It's probably really hot too. My phone is probably overheating. Let me see. Hold on. Let's see if this actually works, because I don't know if it does or not. Yay, it does work on this one. Cool beans. Dancy time. The thing is now, not only is my phone dead, I have to wait for it to turn back on, but now I have to reopen the app that actually talks to my computer and get that all set up again. So it's gonna take us a minute. Oh! I say, he is the first poodle I have ever had. I grew up with lab mixes mostly. We got a lot of them from shelters. And they used to always go, oh yeah, that's a lab, that's a lab. And then we've got Bingus, who is 60 plus pounds, with all of the legs in the world. Very much not a lab. She's got a lab coat, and that's about it. Forrest, though, he is a purebred standard. His parents are both titled. We originally got him as a service dog prospect. He's still a puppy, though, so odds are up in the air. I don't think he's gonna do it, though. He's cute, that's about all he's got going for him, but he's kind of missing a few brain cells, I think. We'll see. He's still young yet. He's only a year old. He's just a baby. He's just a big old baby. Yes, you are. Yeah. He's smart when he wants to be. He's also a pain in my ass when he wants to be, which is all of the time. Alright. Let's see. Can I reconnect, please? Can my camera reconnect? Yeah, reconnection. Cool beans. Let me just get it back up, ease. No, that's the wrong direction. Wrong. There we go. Don't worry, guys. We almost have the problem solved. Huzzah! I'm not the worst streamer on the planet, but I'm not a professional. Yeah. There we go. Now we should be fine. Every once in a while, I do one thing. You can fight! You can fight! What is that from? I know you're referencing something. Is it My Hero? It's giving My Hero. We never did Fairly Odd Parents. Damn it. They're similar vibes, let's be honest. I haven't seen... Oh, maybe I should watch that. We do have Paramount. I could actually sit down and binge watch Fairly Odd Parents. I don't know that I want to, but I could. Right now we're going through and binging all of the old episodes of SpongeBob. I think I'm on season 2 or 3 right now. But that's what I've been watching while sewing this suit. You think I remember my childhood? That's where you're wrong. Nah, I remember some parts of my childhood. But that's the thing too, like as a kid, you know, you grow up watching shows on TV, you definitely missed like half of the episodes. Even if you were watching every Saturday, you somehow missed at least a couple episodes of every show you ever watched. And it's like, I don't remember this being a thing. Or like, I go back and I watch SpongeBob episodes that I remember. I'm like, oh, this one's a classic. This is a good episode. And then they'll make a joke or something. I'll be like, I did not remember that as a kid. Like, that went... Or, like, I did remember that joke. But it went straight over my head so hard as a kid, I didn't get it until right now when we're watching it. And I'm like, oh my god, how was this allowed on TV? And I'm like, that's how it's allowed... That's how it was allowed on TV. Is because they knew damn well... Kids my age when we were watching it as children were not gonna get those jokes. They were jokes for the parents. That's how they got away with it. There's so many funny jokes. Like we watched the snail race. Where Squidward gets a purebred snail and SpongeBob makes Gary race and he explodes like a car. And then Patrick's pet rock wins. But there's a part where he calls Gary lady, you know, to humiliate and demasculinize him, or, you know, emasculate him. And then it cuts to Sandy, and she goes, I don't know why, but I'm gonna kick SpongeBob's butt tomorrow. And as a kid, that just seemed out of nowhere, and I didn't understand what was happening. Because that was a lot of big words for little kid me. And little kid me just thought it was funny that at the end of the episode, she did in fact come back and kick his butt later. Because also childhood me barely remembered she even existed in the first place. Like, she said she was going to do it, and I completely forgot it by the end of the episode. And she did. She did, in fact, kick his butt. And as an adult, and I'm like, oh my god, that's fucking hilarious. And there's a lot of jokes in there. Like, I'm sure we all remember the gold doubloon joke from when Gary had a bath. Don't drop him. As a kid, you know, nobody knows that shit. And then, of course, you turn 12 and someone's like, oh, you know, that's a prison joke. That's a prison butt joke. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know, like, it's whatever. But there's so many jokes in there that are just... Like, so much of what Patrick says as a kid, you're like, oh, Patrick's an idiot. He says random shit all the time. It doesn't make any sense. And now I'm an adult, and I'm like, Patrick is an idiot. But he says such smart things that make sense, and somehow he's still so stupid. Sorry. I'm over here beating up my lamp. But it's very interesting going back and rewatching the episodes and picking up on the little things that childhood me did not get. Because there's a lot of smart jokes in that show. It's actually very fun. So now I'm going back and we're rewatching all of the episodes. And I don't know what I'll do when I'm done watching SpongeBob, because that's pretty much all I've got going on right now. Maybe I'll go back and watch Fairly Odd Parents and discover that there's a lot of really smart jokes in there, too. Because, like, I remember... I have random spots of memory from my childhood that are extremely vivid. Like, just for some reason, my brain decided that was the one thing we needed to keep a 4K HD resolution of in my head. And one of them is sitting by the bar in a bowling alley. Not at the bar, because that wasn't allowed. But I was sitting at a table just behind it. You know, just next to the bar. Because that's where all the TVs were in this bowling alley. My parents were on the bowling league. They were bowling all night. It's like 8 p.m. at this point. I've got my chalky milk, my fucking bottle of Nesquik, and my basket of mozzarella sticks. This was before I knew I was lactose intolerant, by the way. Yes, it did destroy my guts, but I ate all of those mozzarella sticks and drank that entire chocolate milk. Sitting at this high top table, watching the TV. They gave me the remote. I could watch whatever I wanted. And I was watching the big premiere for Fairly Odd Parents, where Cosmo is pregnant. And at the time, I would have been 11-ish, 10, 11. And I know this is the truth because we moved around about just before I turned 12 from New York to Alabama. So this is while we were still in New York. Which means I was definitely 12 at the oldest. And even I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they got M-Preg on Fairly Odd Parents. Because for some reason, 10-year-old me already knew what M-Preg was. And I could tell you what that reason was. I was way on the internet more than I should have been. 10-year-old me was going places that 10-year-olds should not go on the internet because I was very much unsupervised on the internet as a child. No hate to my parents because I'm very good at interneting now. But I should not have known what M-Preg was. I guarantee you I also already knew what Yowie was and the citrus scale at 10 years old. Again, not my parents' fault. They didn't know what I was reading on the internet. That was your introduction. Oh god, no, I knew before that what M-Preg was. And I was like, that shit's weird. But whatever. And then they had it on Fairly Odd Parents. I'm like, they're allowed to do this? That's stuff I see on fanfiction.net. Because that's where I was reading at the time. That was my go-to. That was where I started. And then Wattpad became popular, and I looked at it and said, ew, and barely touched Wattpad, especially not for fanfiction. Original works only, and even then I hated using the app. It was awful. And then by that point, that's when I started hearing the whispers. The whispers of this magical place called AO3. And now I read almost exclusively on AO3. Because there's so many fics on there. And it's great. But no, childhood me, not impressed by the M-Preg. Childhood me did not get it. Childhood me did not like it. Childhood me thought it was very odd that cable TV got away with it. And I feel like that's where Fairly Odd Parents really went downhill as a show. Because I remember a lot of the episode, like looking at the episodes as a child and being like, this is stupid. This is really dumb. And I was like, this is not a good show anymore. But everything before that, like, I also distinctly remember, what was that one mega episode? I don't remember the episode itself. I just remember it was like this really hour-long episode. It might have been part of the Timmy and Jimmy Power Hour. I don't remember. But there was something about him splitting an atom and blowing up the universe with a literal atom bomb. And that, like, fucking Crocker in a mech suit. That's what I remember, is that specific scene. And that is it. I do have vague memories of the Timmy and Jimmy Power Hour, though. Just in general. I did not like seeing Timmy in the Jimmy Neutron style animation. That was horrible. It might have been. I don't remember. This was years ago. This was also in New York before the Mpreg episode, so this was years and years and years ago. That was literally decades at this point. I don't remember. I'm so old now, Jay. I have also been going back and watching Jimmy Neutron, and there's a lot of jokes in there that also went over childhood me's head, where they're actually talking real science, and I'm like, wait, hold on. What they're saying makes sense and is realistic. And then you got his dad over here that we're all like, oh, you know, Jimmy's dad, he's goofy, whatever, he likes ducks, he's weird, you know? And then you hear the things that come out of his mouth, and you're just like, that man is definitely all over AO3 right now. Like, he reads that shit. He says some things, and you're like, he knows too much. He knows too much. And there's other times where you're like, is he stupid or is he just quirky? But it's very interesting going back and watching shows from my childhood and being like, man, there's so much shit I didn't understand as a small child. That went straight over my head. But as a small child, I also watched World's Dumbest. Specifically World's Dumbest Criminals and World's Dumbest Drivers were the top two. Because again, bowling alley, by the bar, 8 or 9 o'clock at night. I remember Nickelodeon in New York was Channel 32. Because I had to remember that for math, because 8 times 4 is 32. Besides the point. We have the Jimmy Neutron movie. I know we do. Do we have it on DVD? It might be in there somewhere. But I know we have it somewhere, some way, somehow. Rolling. We definitely had it on VHS as a kid, though. All I remember is the giant chicken. And flying in space. Which was honestly probably the most unrealistic part of the movie, was the fact that they did not suffocate in space. But brain hole, I don't remember. Oh, World's Dumbest. We get to the bowling alley around like 5-ish for the bowling leagues. Yes, I also remember that because I remember the joke where Sheen asks him a question and he goes, "It's not rocket science." Well, yeah, I guess it is rocket science. Yeah, do that. Like, that's what I remember, is that part specifically. And I always liked the fact that it was made out of theme park rides, because I like rides. I don't know if you guys know this, considering we play Roller Coaster Tycoon every Thursday, but I like me some rides. I like that you and I have a shared memory right here. But, brain hole. Yeah. That was like a whole thing, you know? But we get to the bowling alley around 5, so usually there was still some cartoons playing on Channel 32, which was Nickelodeon in New York. And, you know, I'd watch cartoons until it turned into Victorious or whatever, which childhood me did not want to watch because that sounded dumb. I still think it is kind of dumb. Not my kind of show. So instead, me, being the genius child that I am, would switch over to Channel 34, which was the very next channel, because there was no Channel 33, I believe, if I remember right. which was True TV. And if I was lucky, Cops would in fact be over already, because I also hated watching Cops. And World's Dumbest would be on next. And by the time they stopped airing World's Dumbest at around 10 o'clock, that's when Wipeout started. And I loved me some Wipeout. So I would just sit there by the bar watching True TV for hours every Friday at 9 years old. I had a very interesting childhood. I remember there was a point where, as I got older, Mom started telling me I wasn't allowed to watch True TV anymore. I wasn't allowed to watch World's Dumbest because, you know, it's stupid people doing stupid shit. And that's inappropriate for me. And I was really confused because I had been watching it for years by that point, you know, like, inappropriate. I'm older now. It should not be inappropriate. If anything, I understand it better. But I think her concern was that I was old enough to know what was happening and then try emulating the literal crimes that were being shown on TV. And I was like, no, that's stupid. Obviously, I'm not going to copy that shit. So then I wasn't allowed to watch it anymore. But that didn't matter, because most of the time she was busy bowling, so I would watch it anyway. I didn't really get up to too much at the bowling alley. Every now and then, I'd get access to, like, their party room if there wasn't an event going on in there. And I'd spend 3 hours straight just rearranging the tables. Oh, a dino mask suit! A white clown rabbit named... That sounds so cute! My only concern, I don't know if this is your first suit, is that white on the hands and feet can be very hard to clean. So that's just something that I would keep in mind. You might want to get some shoes for your feet paws, especially if they're white. Hi, Spade! How you doing? We've been blabbing about cartoons and TV for the last 20 minutes. I almost have an entire stripe zone. It's only taken me an hour and a half to do so because we keep getting distracted. To be fair, it is a pretty big stripe. And also, I keep getting distracted. So, it is what it is. But we're making progress. We only have 2, 4, 6 stripes. There's 6 stripes left. Including the one I'm currently sewing. So, progress! Yay! Yeah! We're getting places, we're doing things. And a bunch of stuff came in today. I've been getting so many boxes. A bunch of my stuff from Amazon came in. I got stuff from another store that I shall not name because that will ruin the secret. Okay, nice. That sounds cute. I like that. But you know, Seeky Sneaker Projecto stuff. And I got a bunch of electronics that came in. You're still unpacking? Dang. I mean, you do have a lot of stuff to unpack and organize, so that makes sense, I guess. I know Lumen sent me pictures the other day of you guys messing around with Mustard and Spade and making cookies without me. Kinda rude, not gonna lie. How dare. It's alright, they're peanut butter cookies. Blech. You can keep your peanut butter cookies. Oh, Forrest is dead. Oh, Forrest has tape stuck. Oh, the baby. But we got all kinds of stuff in. I don't have time to come over and bake shit with you, Spay. As much as I'd like to, I have so many things to do. Gotta finish this commission, gotta start the next commission, gotta get ready for the con, gotta do the commission after that, gotta do the personal project. I'll definitely have to take a look later because that sounds really cute and I do want to see it. So maybe after stream I'll pop over and take a look-sees. I'll say my main persona is a coyote named Patch. I have, for some reason, one of his hand paws right here. I was using it to test out some stuff for another project with buttons and things and seeing how they'd fit on a normal pair of hand paws. But he's got crochet on him. He's pretty much all yellow, and then he wears a ramen noodle sweater, which is interesting. Oh, he's all gunky. What did you get in your fingy? You have to wash his hand paws. Well, eat. Anyway. Brain hole. I forgot what we were talking about. Oh yes, the cons and stuff and things. There's so much to do. If I'm lucky, I'll have free time after February of next year. The thing is I'm really trying to like cram in this personal project, and it's a really big project, and I want to have time to do it, but I think it's going to be a con crunch type deal, and I don't want a con crunch. And then on top of that con crunch, I am literally con crunching to Vendetta Con on top of commissions. So I've got a lot of stuff that's going on in the background while I'm also working on commissions. Even if it doesn't seem like it. Like, obviously I'm not printing anything right now or anything like that, but, you know. Odds are later tonight I'll be working on, some embroidery files and whatnot. Chris's hand paws are more like human hands with paw pads and fur. See, I always think those look cool, but I don't like how I have little tiny baby hands. Like little tiny baby hands. It's hard enough to find normal gloves that fit me right, much less paws. So personally, just for me, I like the puffy animal style paw pads. The puffy paws better, just because I find they fit me better. More often than the human style hand paws, just because the fingers tend to be really long on me. But yeah, so I know there's a few people that do that. I'm sure he'll look real cute. But I should figure out how to do slimmer hand paw styles. I probably won't. I'm very bad at slim styles in general. If my dummy thick thighs weren't proof enough, I'm very bad at doing slim style paws. Slim style anything on suits, let's be honest. I do a lot of big, non-form-fitting stuff. My bodysuits are actually known as the dummy thick suits by people that know them. Which is a little unfortunate, but you know, someone's gotta have the big thighs around here. Gotta have them big plush thighs. Is that for me? What is it? It's Wawak! Eat it! Damn it! I missed! I had one job and it was to catch the bag. My zippers came in! And this is also for that personal project later in the year. Ugh, it smells like plastic. Oh. We have 2 short zippers, 2 long zippers. I just gotta double check these are the right zippers. Forrest is being nosy. Here, do you want to smell the rubber band? Anyway, let's see here. 2 long zippers should be the same color. Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize I got a short zipper in that color too. And then the 2 short zippers. I'm doing a lot of zippers is what I'm doing. Hold on, we gotta have our sniffspection. New items in the house are required to be inspected. Are you done? Can I put this away now? Cool. And he's gonna go over and be nosy about it anyway. Cool beans. This is actually a very nice Ziploc bag, though. I'm gonna keep it. You never know when you need a big Ziploc bag. Not right now, but eventually I probably will. I go through a lot of bags in general, so. Yeah. Would you stop it? Good Lord. You nosy little mans. Do-do-do. That sounds vicious. I love when people's characters have really long and thought out backstories, because then I'm just over here like, that is so cool. My character likes ramen noodles. Like, that's all I have. That is pretty much my entire persona. And that wasn't even my choice. The whole thing with Patch is he was originally a pre-made that I decided to keep because I really liked the way he turned out. But then I kept getting mistaken for a chicken instead of just a yellow coyote by people who weren't furries, and I got sick and tired of it. So what did I do? I put a jacket on over top of his yellow torso, so then people would stop calling him a chicken, and it worked. But then people call him the ramen noodle dog, or the ramen furry, and people assume that the crochet on his face is like ramen noodles, because it is kind of ramen noodle colored, now that I think about it. You know, it makes sense. And now he just is the ramen furry, and ramen is his thing. So it kind of sort of stuck. Not that I mind, I really don't. I think it suits him really well. But it's ironic, because I actually don't like ramen that much. I was gifted that jacket for Christmas, kind of as like a gag gift. And I love the jacket. It's a very comfortable jacket, and I think it's very silly because it just is a Maruchan package of ramen on the sweater, like straight up a photo printed on it. And it's hilarious. But now people think that I just really, really like ramen. And then I think the following Christmas, I was also gifted a beef ramen noodle pillow that I also carry around as a prop sometimes now, because, you know, why not go all in? So Patch is now very much the ramen furry, despite the fact that I don't actually care for ramen that much. Like, authentic ramen, I do not like. I do not like the flavor of authentic ramen. I'm not a big fan of broth and soups in general. Maruchan is probably the closest I'll get to actually liking ramen, and even then, these days, I've had so much of it in college, I'm sick of ramen. I'm sick of ramen. Called Foxceris, whose persona is a yellow fox with a pet dragon. Ah, we could be twinsies! Except I don't have a pet dragon, I have pet ramen. I could just, I should get a noodle and name him Ramen. Fingus, are you good itching? It's very interesting, like, when we go out and about to cons and stuff, fur meets, it's like a lot of people like to get photos with other suitors that are, like, the same color as them. So, like, there's, I know at the Fur Bowl, I'm blanking on his name right now. It's gone. I don't know his name anymore, apparently. I know his name. I know it. But anyways, he usually goes around, and if he sees someone who is also a yellow fursuiter, he asks to get a picture with them. And if he can, he'll get a group photo of all of the yellow fursuiters together. And that's always very fun and silly to me, especially when you find someone who happens to be a very similar design to yours, like similar patterns and everything. It's very silly. Yeah. Forrest is now complaining. Because he's a big baby. Yes, you are. You're a big baby. Thank you for the follow. Feel like my follow notifications are not coming up how they're supposed to. Dang it. He's now sitting here staring at me, hoping that if he stares hard enough, I'll do what he wants, which is throw his toy. Bingus, babe, if you're hot, get out of your chair. Stop panting at me. Your breath is gross. I'm so glad for summer to be over. Like, I am ready for fall weather again. I'm ready for having to wear jackets when I go outside weather. Because this is ridiculous. It's too hot all of the time. Yes, it is. Too toasty. Ugh. This week is nice because we finally got like a... That's a poodle thing. Oh, good. I'm glad it's a poodle thing. He's very much a talker. You know, I've never had a dog that stares at me so hard and then complains about it. I don't mind the judgmental staring so much. The big baby whining is annoying though. Meh meh. He sounds like a Minecraft villager a lot. Sometimes he actually like whines, but most of the time he just complains and he goes, meh. Yeah, meh. We've also discovered, we've discovered that our dogs have certain words that we did not teach them that they like. Yeah, you know what's coming. But they each have words that they're particularly fans of. Bingus is a big fan of the word felonies and money laundering and just various crimes, like specifically different crimes and felonies. Specifically felonies, not like petty crimes. She likes felonies, like Grand Theft Auto and money laundering and tax evasion. She's over here perking her ears up. She gets particularly excited about those. Forrest gets excited if you ask him if he's a psychopath, which I'm not sure how I feel about. Why are both my dogs so weird? It's like I know there's this one golden retriever. They blew up a while ago because they really like the word murder. So now everybody's sending them like little plushy knives and stuff. They stare, have tons of energy, and they're whiny as puppies and pretty vocal as adults. Yeah, he's a very vocal dog. Like, he's a big barker, which I did not expect, honestly, considering I got him for service work. Sarah has always been a very, very quiet dog, which is unusual even for a lab mix. She does not bark at pretty much anything. These days she does, because he barks a lot, so now she has started barking. But generally speaking, she does not bark at things. She's usually pretty quiet. You, on the other hand, he is loud. Like, he's running around, he gets excited, he barks. He gets upset, he barks. He's stressed out, he barks. He's mildly inconvenienced, which is apparently all of the time. He is a big complainer. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. He's also the cuddliest dog I've ever had. But that might just be because, like, Sarah, she was raised to not be a lap dog. Very specifically, we weren't allowed to put her in our lap. She wasn't allowed up on the furniture, nothing like that. So she's not a particularly cuddly dog. Forrest, on the other hand, wants to climb inside my skin sometimes. And I'm like, why? It's alright, I don't mind it. I don't mind having him climb in my skin. I do mind when you're right in the way, though, and I'm trying to sew. This I mind. But yeah, no, he's very vocal. He lets me know. He's not afraid of telling you what he thinks and feels. Which would be fine if I wasn't trying to train him for public access. And he decides that he needs to bark at every person in existence. Which is not okay. It's not allowed. So he might end up not working as a service dog for public access. He might just be good for doing DPT and tasks at home. Which is fine. He does like doing his tasks. He likes doing DPT and helping with the laundry. The laundry is his favorite because then he gets to murder the socks. He likes murdering the socks before he puts them in the washing machine. We're still learning the put it in the washing machine part, because ours is a top loader and not a front loader, but he's getting there. Sometimes they get in there. Most of the time he just drops them next to the washing machine. But we're learning. He's a smart boy when he wants to be. Yes, the socks. Always the socks. Sometimes the underwear too. Just any small articles, but especially the socks. He has a small pillow that my father-in-law gave him, this little camo pillow, that he murders in the exact same way. And he is spoiled. He is so spoiled. This fucker. So ever since I brought him home as a puppy, right? Like, we were crate training him and all that, you know. The first few months were terrible because he would just scream. Like, he doesn't cry, right? Poodles, I don't know if this is all poodles or just him, but he does not cry the way normal puppies cry. You know, he doesn't go wah, wah, wah. He goes screeching noises. Oh, it was horrible. So for the first few months we had him home, I would sleep on the couch and he would be in his cage. Because we needed him to be okay being in his cage at night. Especially since he wasn't potty trained yet. You know, we were still working on it and we didn't want him wandering around out of his cage having accidents. Guys, really? We're chewing on each other right now? You can do it, Bingus. I believe in you. Good job, Grandma. She's got arthritis, so she struggles to get out of the chair sometimes. Good job, babe. Yeah. But some nights I would just be sick of him screaming and crying, so I would take him out of the crate and I would put him up on between me and the back of the couch. I'd be like, all right, go to sleep. And rather than cuddling next to me against my side between me and the couch, he would purposefully get up, climb, and step all over my face to lay on my pillow that I was currently using, because God forbid the man lays on a couch. That is not comfortable enough for him. He wants to be on the pillow. And he's old enough now that he's house trained and all that jazz, so we don't worry about it. He sleeps in bed with us now. But if my fiance's not in bed and it's just me and him, he will slowly but surely scoot his way up the mattress and eventually plop his little head on my fiance's pillow and just go to sleep there. And I'm like, dude, you know he's gonna move you when he comes back. But he is the biggest, most spoiled baby there is, I swear. So yes, you are. Yeah. He's also the first male dog I've had in years, and that is a whole thing in and of itself because, oh my god, the difference between the girls and the boys. Like, Sarah will judge me at all times. She'll do what I ask of her, but she will judge me at all times. Forrest? Sometimes I'm not sure his brain is on. You know? Like, I can ask him to do things, and he'll look at me like he's never heard the English language before. Yeah, you do. You're covered in Bingus hair now. Yeah. He's a goof. Get a sock you don't care about, put a few balls of newspaper in it, and stuff it. Interesting. See, the thing is, I feel like he would go through that so quick because he loves tearing at seams. That is a big thing for him, is he loves pulling at the seams of toys. We actually have a few ropes that we've had for years that are now starting to shred because he just loves tearing at the seams. We've also discovered that his favorite toy is actually a milk carton. He loves having an empty gallon of milk and just chewing on the handle and stuff. It takes him like 10 minutes before it's chewed up too much. We have to toss it anyway. But, you know, a free toy is a free toy. He loves it. But he loves himself some water bottles. Yeah. But he's, like, we've gone through so many stuffies and plushies and all kinds of stuff. He just tears up toys like crazy. Yeah, but you like the squeaky bones. Yes, you do. We have these little rubber squeaky bones that are like $5 at Walmart. They used to be $1, which is why I got them originally. Because, you know, broke college kid with a dog. I got them for Bingus way back when. And she loved it. They're bacon scented. She very specifically likes the pink ones. He also really likes the pink ones, but they both are okay with the orange ones. They hate the green ones. They won't touch them. I don't know what the difference is. They're all bacon scented. They all smell the same. They just don't like the green color, I guess. But she really likes the pink ones. And they will fight. We have like 6 of these now. All in either pink or orange. And they will fight over the one pink bone that someone's using. But he likes to grab them and just go squeak, 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 like nonstop for a solid 10 minutes. That was several months of our life. Was just him squeezing the one toy nonstop. And I'm like, buddy, glad you're having fun. But please, for the love of God. We actually ended up killing a few squeakers. Specifically because we found that even if we kill the squeaky noise, he doesn't care as long as he can squeeze the toy. He likes squeezing the toy. So we killed a couple squeakers, and we give those ones to him when he decides he wants to squeak the ever-loving shit out of a toy. Yeah, good boy. But he is just over a year old, so we're kind of going through that stage where he doesn't really want to listen, and he really, really wants to have things his way, no matter what. So it's kind of been, you know, the teenage years, puppy tantrums at this point. Really ready for the maturity to come in. And then, of course, at the same time, we're also going through coat change. So we've got him shaved pretty short. We're finally growing him back out because he's mostly changed over. His belly is still the soft, fluffy stuff, but all down his spine is grown-up fur for the most part, so... Hey! Nosy butt. Stop messing with my cords. He also likes to eat fur. I have seen those. They usually are really expensive, though. I can't afford most toys from the pet store these days. I do not have the money for it. If it's more than like $5, I can't afford to buy a bunch of toys. Especially if he's just going to shred them in a week anyway, you know? So most of our toys are toys that have lasted for a while. Like, we have this pink ball. He brought it in here earlier. We've had that pink ball since I was 4. That ball actually has a very interesting story behind it. We used to have a dog named Odie, and she was a West Highland Terrier lab mix. So she had the lab body on the stocky little Westie legs, and her fur kept growing, but it was still a double coat. It was a whole thing. But my mom had bought some super tough chewer toys that were meant for dogs that were supposed, that chew through everything, right? She shredded it and destroyed it within 10 minutes. And, my mom ended up writing a letter to the company being like, I spent $20 on this super tough chewer toy and it didn't even work. So they sent us back an entire box full of toys, some of which she proceeded to also shred and destroy. Some lasted a little while, but one of them was that big pink ball. like I said, she was a Westie mix, so she was only 30 pounds. That ball is too big for, honestly, for Bingus even, for both the dogs. And these guys are big dogs, you know, they're large breeds. This is a big ball for them. I like it because they can still fit it in their mouths, but it's not small enough that I worry about them choking on it, you know? I would consider this a pretty safe ball. But it was so big for Odie that she couldn't put her mouth around it if she wanted to. So she hated it. She never touched it. And we got that ball in 2004. We got labs since then that never touched it. They just didn't like the ball. They didn't like the texture, whatever. And then we got Sarah in 2014. And she was the first dog we've ever had that actually played with that ball. She actually likes the ball because she can pick it up and squeeze it. It's not a squeaky ball. It's a very hard rubber ball. But she likes it. She likes chewing on it. She likes the popping noise it makes when you squeeze on it. I don't know. It's not meant to be squozed. And now Forrest likes chasing it around in the yard. So finally, after literal decades, the ball is getting the love it deserves. It's only taken so many years. Yeah, you like playing with your ball in the backyard. Yes, you do. But he is very high energy, which sucks because I am not. Not in the slightest, and I spend a lot of my day working on fursuits, pretty sedentary. Which was something I had brought up to the breeder, and she's like, oh no, poodles are pretty chill. I was like, I've been told that poodles are pretty high energy, kind of excitable dogs, you know, like they want to go, go, go all the time. And the breeder was like, oh no, our poodles are pretty chill, you know, they're good for service. Like, they'll want to go do things with you when you need them out and about for service work, but they're pretty chill, relaxed dogs. Forrest has yet to be a chill, relaxed dog. There's been maybe 5 days in his whole year and a half of life that he's actually been chill for most of the day. Most of the time, he's very much go, 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 running around and stuff. He really likes chasing, playing chase in the yard. I like to throw his ball for him and then run in the opposite direction, and he'll come running after me. It's one of his favorite things, and it works, because, you know, I only have to run a little bit. It gets me some exercise that I know I need. And it gets him a lot of exercise that he definitely needs. Because we can't really go for a walk on the street we live on. It is not safe to do so. Which sucks, because otherwise I'd take him for walks every day, you know? But if it's particularly nice out and we have the time and the money, we'll go to the park down the way. There's a park a few miles up the road, state park, that we can go for a nice long walk on. He is, unfortunately, pretty reactive towards strangers. It started off as fear reactivity, and these days, most of the time, it's just when people show up to our house. He does not like when strangers show up on our property, so he barks at them. That's pretty much all it is. It's just him barking. He's a big baby otherwise. The second someone even takes a step in his direction, he's running. He's a big baby. He's all talk. But usually when we go out and about, he's not too bad. Most of any barking he does when we're out and about is excitement. He gets really excited when he sees people that he wants to say hi to. And then he decides that not only is he going to bark about it, but he's going to lunge at the end of his leash and go vertical on his back legs and try. He really likes punching. Like, that's also how he plays. Like, his favorite thing to do when he plays with Sarah is to jump up and punch him in the face. Yes, the crimes emote. Heck yeah. That is honestly one of my favorite drawings I've ever done of Patch. I sell it a lot as a Your Character Here piece too. So there are a lot of people on Telegram now that have it as a sticker. But I also sell it at cons as a little transparent sticker. So it's actually a clear sticker that says crimes on it. You can stick it on whatever you want, and I love it. I should stick one. I haven't, but I should. Do I? I do not. I used to have one on my pin board. So yeah, Jay has one. So you got the transparent sticker and the emote. Not the emote, but the telegram sticker. Forest, buddy! Good lord. We're almost done. We're almost done streaming and you can go run around. It's driving me nuts. Yeah. But yeah, that is one of my most favorite. The other favorite one of mine that I've done, because I do a lot of drawings of Patch, and most of them don't see the light of day. Most of them end up staying as their little Photoshop file, and possibly even being deleted anyway, just because I don't like them. But the crimes and the little derp are my favorites. In fact, I liked them so much, I actually turned them into files for my coloring books as well. So I have the Canine edition and the Feline edition, and they each have a Canine and Feline version of both the crimes and derp stickers. Because I just liked them so much. I liked them so much. But yeah, so it's definitely interesting. There we go. But I like the crime sticker. I need to make more stickers for Twitch. Like I want to make like a little huggy sticker, a little heart sticker, a little waving emote, you know. I feel like we just listened to the song. Am I not crazy? Bye! Have fun! Hopefully we'll see you the next time we stream. What? Oh goodness. See, I know it's already almost 4 o'clock, so we're probably just gonna finish this half of this stripe. And then we'll call it for the day, probably. There we go. Hi, Forest. Yeah. Are you a goofball? Can you go lay down, please? Lay down. Uh-huh. I shouldn't have to ask you twice. Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I know darn well he knows what I'm saying. But he'll wait until I go to put him in a lay down before he actually decides, oh, you want me to do the thing? Okay. You're not just saying words at me. He's a little butthole. Yes, you are. You're a pain in my butt. You're lucky you're cute and cuddly. Chippy, chippy. So yeah, after this, I'll probably go watch some SpongeBob and do some more sewing. I gotta figure out what we're doing for dinner, honestly, because it'll be dinner time here soon. I'll probably make a buffalo chicken pasta for dinner, because that sounds good. I gotta thaw out some chicken for that, though. Jay wouldn't like how I make buffalo chicken pasta because I don't actually use buffalo sauce. I use hot sauce and ranch. Which is totally buffalo sauce. I also use cream cheese. hot sauce, ranch, cream cheese, cheddar cheese. And then you mix that in with some shredded chicken. And that's buffalo chicken dip right there. But you could turn buffalo chicken dip into buffalo chicken pasta by adding pasta. And then whole bam. Buffalo chicken pasta. Noah gets annoyed with me because he likes buffalo chicken dip, but he's not as big a fan of buffalo chicken pasta. And I'm like, well, we don't have chips, we have pasta. Pasta's cheaper than chips, and we have the stuff for buffalo chicken pasta. So, we're making buffalo chicken pasta. He also likes his stuff spicier than I don't like spicy foods. So I put just enough hot sauce that you can taste the hot sauce without feeling the burn. And then I usually leave the hot sauce on the table for him, because he likes to add more. So it's the spicy. There we go. I don't like chicken wings. Or most chicken in general, actually. I have a very, very poor relationship with chicken because chicken has broken my trust many a time with grizzly meat and yucky pieces, mostly in the processed chicken nuggets that fast food places sell, and the processed chicken strips that restaurants sell. I do not trust the chicken. The amount of times I've gotten really sad chicken has been more times than I've gotten really good chicken. So I don't generally order chicken. Especially like chicken tendies or grilled chicken. Those tend to be the worst. I could see that. Like I usually buy a rotisserie chicken and I shred it up and bag it for dinners later so that way I can just toss in already cooked chicken that's tender, you know? 'Cause I don't like my chicken being dried out and hard. I want soft, good chicken, you know? So I tear off chunks of rotisserie chicken and toss it in. But if it's a hot, fresh chicken, some of it's really wet and slimy, and I'm like, that is awful. Why? Stop it. Like, that's terrible. Who wants that? So I usually just don't, and then whatever's left over I make a broth out of, and then we have chicken stock for later. And I can put it in a soup, or a pasta, or whatever it is I make. Alright, it is hot. Probably because I'm wearing pants today, because it's actually not hot out, it's just hot in here, because poor circulation. I closed that window, because it was raining, and I haven't had a chance to reopen it. It's actually really, really nice out today. But yeah, no, texture is a big thing for me in food. If it's not the right texture for whatever food it is, I cannot eat it. I didn't realize I dragged you guys a little bit. Don't worry about it, you're fine. Alright. Who do we want to raid? Do. Copper Moth. What are they doing? Sure, we shall raid them again. And I will see you guys tomorrow, I think, right? Tomorrow's Thursday? Yeah. And we'll do the gaming stream. Roller coasters! Heck yeah, roller coasters! Bye! I shall see you guys